Hi, my name's Kris McInnes and I'm a psychic medium from Brisbane, Australia. And tonight I'd like to share another true story about a time that I moved a spirit on from out of somebody's home. But in the process, brought it back to my home, unfortunately. Anyway, entity removal is something I've always did in person. I'd go to the person's house, introduce myself, go for a walk around and just see at first what I can pick up in the home. But then I started to get a few people contacting me from different parts of Australia asking if I could possibly help them. And at first I was saying no, sorry, I live in Queensland, it's way too far, I can't travel that far. But then I started to think about it, as I'm a keen, experienced astro traveller. So I started thinking, well, maybe I could bring those two techniques together and I might be able to move entities on via astro travel. So after a while, someone else contacted me and asked if I may be able to help them, and as they lived in Victoria. So I got them to explain what the problems were and things like that first, and then I told this lady what I'm about and what I do, and I explained to her that I couldn't come down in person, but I can try astro traveling over there, as I am an experienced astro traveller. And she seemed quite interested and keen for me to help in any way I can. So I worked out the night I was going to go over there and to see what I could see and if I could pick up anything. As I did tell her, I can't promise anything, but I'll do my best to help her out. Anyway, the day before, like it always happens before I do an entity removal, normally my spirit around me will kind of give me a message of what religions this certain entity goes by and believes and things like that, and what type, if there's tools, what do I need to do to help move this spirit on. So that came through like it always does, and this one happened to be a Christian-based spirit. So I got myself into a relaxing, meditated type of state, and once I was ready to start astro traveling over, I did that. But firstly, before I did all of that, like I always do, as if I'm going there in person or going via astro traveling, I always protect myself. With the light, protect me with the white light and things like that, just all around me, just so I know I'm safe. And so I astro travelled over to this lady's house. First I saw kind of a bit of a roof, I presume it was her roof, and then I saw a bang, I was right up against a front door. So she already allowed me into her home, so I've let myself in. And once I got in the door, it was like someone had a fishing line on me, and as I was wheeling it up, and I zipped through the house. I feel like it wasn't even me shooting through the house. Something is pulling me like a gravity thing, going straight up to the back, one of the back rooms. And once it stopped, I was in this room, and it was a dark room, and I'm looking around, and I couldn't see anything at first, but I could feel, sense there was something in there. And then suddenly I saw it looked like a shadow of a woman up against a wall just appear. And she did seem very negative, a nasty feeling and things like that. And I was trying to communicate with her. She wouldn't tell me her name or anything like that. She was very closed off at first. But then she actually did show me how she died. and it was brutal. It was nasty. I don't really want to get into that too much at all, but it definitely wasn't a nice way to go, and it explains to me why she hung around for so long. But apparently she just happened to see this lady, the owner of the house. I can't honestly remember where she saw her, but she just saw her down the street somewhere, and kind of became an attachment. She's brought her back to this house. And as attachments normally will, like, I'm sure there's good attachments out there, maybe, but a lot of them unfortunately are negative attachments, where they'll just see someone that might be going through a bit of drama in their life, maybe a bit of depression, things like that, and some negative spirits really feed off negative feelings and all that, and so they'll attach themselves to somebody like that, or anybody in general, but sometimes I really like those type of people. And unfortunately, I think this lady was one of those people going through a bit of drama in their lives, unfortunately. And so this spirit attached herself to her and came back to her place, and she's just feeding off of her. And then obviously, because things were happening in the home, like she first noticed just footsteps be walking around the house, and this lady apparently lived alone, and she'd hear these footsteps. She's like, what's that? Like, and then just kind of dismiss it, thinking, oh no, it's nothing, it's imagination or creaky floorboards. But then things started to get more in the way of shadows, and just enough to go, did I really see that? And then she started to notice shadows just moving around here or there, or things like that, to the point that she started to see this dark woman standing there, here or there, in different rooms. And then things started to get more intense, where they would things would move or slide off friggin' tables and things like that, from what I was told. But anyway, getting back to this lady in the room, and I'm standing there, and I'm trying to communicate with her, but she didn't really let out too much, except she just told me, well, showed me how she passed on. So I asked if she would like to leave this place and go towards the light and things like that, but she was definitely very stubborn. She didn't really want to go anywhere. I don't know. She'd just been there so long and traumatized, I suppose. Yeah, she just wasn't thinking clearly, I feel. Anyway, so she didn't want to go, but I said, well, you can't stay here. So I started trying to bring the white light into this place, and it was very dark. So this entity had put a lot of darkness into this home, and I was there trying to get this light through, and I got it through, but I was also trying to feed the light into this spirit, because I believe this spirit really needed it, because it had so much dark in her. So I was trying to feed the light into her, the love and everything, just to break away, get through that black coating that was just felt like it was through her. And after a while, I honestly believe it started to work. She started to look better. But then, I don't know exactly what happened in the room, but it just, like, I was kind of blinded for a moment. I couldn't really, couldn't see what was happening in there. And then suddenly, bang, she was in my face. I'm like, okay. She's obviously just trying to stop me from doing what I was trying to do to keep, to move her on. So I tried to ignore her and just kept on going with it, and just put some more love, some more light into her and all of that, just because I feel that she should be going to the next step for her, you know. And then, yeah, after a while, I don't know, she just vanished. And I'm like, did she go towards the light? I don't know, she was there and then she wasn't there. and I wasn't sure, but so I really put my senses out there trying to find if she was still here, which room she was in, things like that. And I couldn't sense her anywhere. So I even went for a walk through this place and just looking around, just seeing if I can hear or sense anything at all. And I couldn't. So I was like, okay, well, it's obviously worked. She's gone. And sometimes it is like that. It's just so you don't physically see them disappear into the light, but you just have this feeling, yes, they're gone. So I thought, okay, everything is good. It's moved on. So I continued to pour the light into this place. Just the beautiful white light, protection, all the good energies and everything right through this place. Just trying to clear it up and just make it feel good. Because if you don't feel all those empty voids and things like that in a home after you've moved a spirit on, they say it leaves room for negative spirits to come through and fill those voids and places like that. So I always try to pour the love and the light and everything into the place, the house, the land, everything involved. So it's just warm feeling. And so yeah, so I did all of that, and then so once I felt the place was okay there, I started getting ready to go back home. And so once I got back home, I was still there with my eyes shut. I started kind of wiggling my toes and things like that, just trying to slowly wake up, because if I get up too quickly, I'll probably fall over from due to lack of energy. So I got myself back on order and all that. I already had a glass of water sitting beside me, ready, type of thing. So I was quite shaky because it took a lot out of me doing it that way. So I sat down, I just had a drink and chilled for a few minutes because I was very lightheaded and all of that. And so I made sure, like, any friggin' portals or anything I may have friggin' opened while I'm astro traveling over, just make sure everything's good and the room's protected still. I cleared the room thinking, okay, everything's great. And that night, no drums at all. It was fine. But the next night, I was sitting in the lounge room with my wife and we were watching a movie, and it would have been, I don't know, 20 minutes to half an hour to near the end of the movie. And then I've kind of just sensed something, and I've looked up, and in the hallway, I saw this dark shadow of the woman, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That looks like the one from the night before. And I was really tired. Had a big day, and I just wanted to go to sleep, basically. I was already falling asleep on the couch. But I'm like, is it? So I jumped up, because as soon as I saw her, she vanished. And I was like, yeah, I'll have a look. So I'm trying to put my feelers out there, going through the whole house, but I'm tired, and I'm like, I didn't find anything, but I probably didn't really want to find anything either. So I thought, and my wife even had a walk around, because she's really good at picking up things like that too, and we couldn't pick anything up. So I thought, maybe it's just my imagination. I don't know. So I didn't worry about it. I dismissed it, and ended up going to bed. Anyway, woke up the next morning nice and early, 5 o'clock or whatever, to get ready for work. And my wife worked as well, or works, shall I say. And so we went to work, but my older daughter, she's a high schooler, and she was left home alone in the morning like she normally is to get herself ready for school, and she jumps on the bus and goes. And it was probably about 8:30 in the morning. She started texting me these really weird texts, one after the next and all of that. And she's really lucky, because in my career, I could be anywhere from 2 hours away from home or the workshop and things like that on any given day. But this time, luckily, I was actually working at the workshop. And yeah, she sent me all these weird text messages going, Dad, 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 there's something in the house. I'm scared. I'm scared. Things are being thrown around the room and this and that, and there's footsteps. And I'm like, what? And the time I went to ring her, she rang me. I thought, sweetie, what's going on? And she said, I don't know what it is, but there's something in the house. And she was explaining a million miles an hour, just going brrr at me, just terrified. And she said, I'm out front of the house now. I'm too scared to go back in. And I said, whoa. Okay. Well, what's happening then? And she explained, said, well, when I first got up, I was getting myself ready, and I went to the kitchen, and I was getting my lunch ready and all of that. And then I heard footsteps coming down the hallway towards the kitchen to me. And then I'm like, what's that? And I'm thinking, oh, maybe mum's home. Maybe she's sick or something. So she went looking for her mum. And she went into all the rooms and Mum, couldn't find mum anywhere. So she went out to the lounge room and opened up the front windows to have a look to see if her car was still there. And obviously her car was gone. Everyone's at work. And then she was like, oh, okay, righto. So she went back to getting herself ready, and she walked into her bedroom, and then suddenly she heard the footsteps again coming up behind her, down the hallway, right up behind her, and she span around, looking around, going, who's that? What's that? Freaking freaking out type of thing. And then right there and then, that's when she started seeing things kind of get thrown around her room. And that was it. She was freaking out of there. She just ran straight out the front and all that. And I ended up saying to her, I said, well, can't you just go to school then? And she goes, no, my bag's still in the house and I'm too scared to go back in. I said, okay, righto, that's cool. You just stay out the front and I'll be there in probably half an hour tops. But I probably went a bit faster than I should have because I was just worried about my daughter. I gave the boss some weird excuse why I had to go. Obviously couldn't tell him the truth because he probably would have raised his eyebrows about this one. So I shot back home. Met her on met my daughter standing on the driveway. So I pulled in. I said, "Okay, sweetie, it's okay. Come on." And she's still kind of a little bit better, but very panicky still. I said, "Let's just go inside. We'll get your stuff and I'll drop you off at school, hey? How's that sound?" Yeah, all right. So we went in there and she was getting the bits and pieces quite quickly, but she went into the kitchen to get her lunchbox. And I noticed her school bag sitting in the lounge room on the floor, so I picked it up and my daughter came over and I'm facing the hallway and she's kind of had her back to the hallway and she's putting her lunchbox in her bag. And right there and then, I saw this bloody woman dragging herself from the hallway across the lounge room floor, coming up behind my daughter. And I'm staring at her going, are you freaking for real? Like, why the hell? Obviously, she was just trying to scare the crap out of her, or out of us, whatever. Because all the times I saw her, which wasn't many times, she wasn't crawling. She was just standing there or walking and things like that. She was never crawling, so it was like she was really trying to put the fear of God up us or something. I don't get why. It's a friggin' nasty thing. So I obviously didn't tell my daughter didn't see this. I didn't tell her what was happening with it at all. And I've just said, okay, sweetie, you got everything? And she goes, yep. Okay, you meet me out at the ute. I'll be just there. I just got to get my keys, all right? But you just go out there and wait there. It's fine, because I just wanted to get her the hell out of the house, because I'm like, far out. She turns around and sees this thing, or what's it going to do next to scare the crap out of her? So, yeah, she raced out the front, waited at the ute, and the time, like, I said this to my daughter, it vanished anyway. But I was pissed off, so I went and got my gear and my keys and that. Walking out, and I'm just so freaking pissed off, telling her to piss off and all that, walking out the door. So I went and dropped my daughter off at school. Then, so I went back to the house after that because I had to, because I can't leave that thing in the house for my kids to get home, because my daughter is the first one home every afternoon. So I thought, well, I better just try to move this, get rid of this thing now. So just the same as when I was moving it on from the lady's house, I did that at our house. So yeah, so I went through all the same channels and everything to move this thing on, except I was probably a bit hasty with it. I didn't really care where this friggin' lady went. I was pissed off of her by this stage for doing that to my daughter, and I just wanted it gone. I said, I don't care where she goes, I just want her out of here, you know, like I was really ropeable. So in the end, again, I thought, I went through everything there at the house. I went, now I can't, she's vanished again, I can't feel her in here. I done a walk around to double check. I couldn't sense her anywhere in this house, in our house. So I was like, well, good, it looks like it's worked. So again, I put all the light and the love and the positive energies through the home again to fill any voids, empty voids or whatever in the place. So once I felt that everything was calm, that's when I went back to work. But that afternoon I was a bit concerned. I'm thinking, my daughter's going to be there home alone for like only about half an hour, but half an hour's a long time if something's freaking you out. So then, so that night, nothing happened, and I thought, well, the tester will be through the night, and especially with my poor girl, my poor daughter is home alone early hours of the morning. I kind of wanted to chuck a sickie almost just to make sure she's okay and nothing happens, but I couldn't, so I had to go to work. So anyway, she texted me in the morning and said, I'm at school now, blah, 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 everything's good, and apparently there are no issues in the world, nothing happened at the house. This spirit lady, dark energy, was definitely gone. She never came back. But yeah, it's friggin', it's not good for the poor lady. Like I said, she friggin' went in a nasty way, and I did try to help her to go towards the light, but after coming back to my house and friggin' causing issues, especially with my kids, like I was like, nah, no way, I'm not having that. So I just want you out of here. No, you can get stuffed. So I just, yeah, moved her on. But yeah, that's just another story to add to my list. So if you did like my story, please don't forget to like my video and subscribe. That would be fantastic if anyone would love to subscribe, and you'll see more videos like this. And thank you so much to all my other subscribers, as you mean the world to me. Anyway, everyone, I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.